Everyone. My name is Ramin Khan. I belong to UP Prayagraj, but currently I reside in Delhi. As per my qualification, I'm a MSc B.Ed CETET qualified. I used to teach science and English. Currently, I'm not teaching anywhere because of responsibilities, kids, and so yeah, I'm a mother to two lovely kids. Um, yes, ma'am. And if I talk about my hobbies, I hardly get time, but whenever I get time, I like to, learn new things, especially related to English. And the another thing is that teaching is actually my passion. Profession, it was my profession. It will be my profession after, after some time, I will continue this thing again. So yeah, that's all about me.
Earlier you were taking classes. I know you. So what was the experience? How was your experience?
Experience was actually very, it was good because when you teach, you learn actually. You before teaching, you prepare things. It's not like if you are a teacher, you know everything.
Mhm.
Teacher is also a learner. When you learn, when you teach someone, you need to study because you want your student to understand everything in a very proper manner. So before that, because as you know, I'm from science background. English was never my subject. I'm from science background. I did BSc, and my subject was botany, zoology, chemistry, and I did post graduation in zoology.
Hmm.
So I told you that English was never my subject, and I come from a Hindi medium background as well.
Hmm.
But this language, actually it fascinated me a lot. So I thought, why don't I, start teaching this language if I want to learn this language, if I want to become fluent, because I understand in this language, I can write, I can read, but the struggling part is how to speak, and especially how to speak in front of the strangers. Not only in front of stranger, but with your own people as well. If you don't have that background, English background, as we are living in this, this country, we don't have this kind of atmosphere that we, surround ourselves. How do we surround ourselves with this kind of people? Those who, speak English. So it is necessary for us to create that environment. So I can say this thing deliberately. I choose this profession, choose this language to teach.
Hmm. And
Initially, it was difficult, actually, initially, because I told you that English was never my subject. Initially, it was hard for me to teach, like grammar portion, basically grammar portion, because I started teaching in an institute where, the owner told me to take the classes of those who were preparing for government examination, like, CTET or SSC. So what I used to do is before the classes, I used to study. I used to prepare all the essential parts, and then I teach. So it worked a lot.
hmm.
Grammar portion, I can say this thing that when you teach grammar automatically, because in front of a student, I used to speak in English only. I try to speak in English because they the kind of thing is that in their mind that she's the English new tutor, so she should speak in English. So that sorry, ma'am.
What happened?
Am I am
Yeah.
I visible to you,
Yeah,
ma'am?
yeah, yeah. Clear.
Actually, I received a call from my husband. That's why
Okay, okay.
I had to disconnect the call.
No, no, there's no need
Actually,
to.
no, the session is already, it is
No,
recorded.
I will edit this part. I will edit this part.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
Okay. So as
Yeah.
you said that you were teaching over there. So teaching is different, and when it comes to speaking, right? It is totally spark.
Mhm.
There's between teaching and means subject and speaking. Both are
Mhm.
different. So do you also feel like
Mhm.
when you speak, then you forget grammar part while speaking? Do you face this difficulty with you as well or not?
As I told you that while teaching, I used to talk to the student in only in English. So this part, like talking with my student in English, it helped me a lot because I used to talk a lot with the students. So that I sometimes I asked that did you understand any concept, and if they don't understand any concept, so I make them understand only in English. So it helped me a lot. So covering topic is very different, as you told you. Covering topic is
Yes.
very different because the grammar portion is a bit difficult, especially when you are teaching government students, those who are preparing for government exam. It's a lot of rules of grammar, like noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, all these things. But when it comes to speaking, like spoken English, that is a actually that is actually a different thing. So like grammar portion, mostly I can say this thing, the translation tenses are very important.
Yes.
So if you, work on your tenses, if you work a lot on your tenses, that would definitely help you in speaking. And the other part is vocab, which is also important, but not too much, because I hardly use difficult words, like advanced vocab. Like most of the English speaking people, they deliberately use advanced word. But I hardly use, because in front of the people, if the person is not getting my words, they are not able to understand. So what is the necessity to you of using those words? I can say this thing, that you can use simple words. Even the native speaker, I can say native speaker, even they use simple, easy words, and they make their speech very smooth, very calm, so that you can make the other person,
Understand.
relaxed,
Hmm.
understand. Yes, to make them understand basically.
Hmm. Yeah, it happens. Somebody use lots of vocabularies, fancy word, but who's listening to you, they don't get in a proper way. So, what's the meaning of your
Mm.
making videos and all? So many YouTubers, there's those who are
Of
famous.
course,
They are using simple sentences without any hard grammar vocabulary, and we are easy.
sometimes sometimes it looks like you are showing off.
It is,
Mostly people, those who
and
but
it
I'm
is
not saying that you don't need to learn. You can learn, because learning new vocabs, it has become my habit.
and how to force our mind towards the new and initiative words, how to use vocabulary while speaking. So they are also means we can inculcate that habit. Okay, I have to also speak like this. So we have to take it in a positive way sometimes. So in this, if I'm not getting that word, particular word, so I have to search that word. In this way, I will learn that word in an instant manner, I think, right? But
Yes,
all
right,
the time, don't
definitely.
use. Be your speaking in a natural way. Speak in a natural way. Sometimes you have
Hmm,
to use,
definitely.
but all the time you cannot peacocking. Peacocking, it means show off, right? Yes.
Right, definitely. And what happens? I'm telling my experience. What happens with me most of the time? I learn a lot. I have 2 to 3 diary. I maintained diary on a regular basis. So, but what happens with me? When the time comes to speak those fancy vocabs and expressions, I forgot.
Hmm.
It happens with me. I
Hmm.
usually forget all these things. So I make my speech very simple, and I really want to make myself relax so that I can easily deliver my speech.
It's good, ma'am,
I'm really
actually.
satisfied.
First of all, there's
Very
no need to
satisfied.
fancy and high vocabulary and high structure of sentences. First, we have to go in a simple way so that if people are
Mm,
understanding, so what's wrong in it? It's good. And you are also improving.
mm,
First, you have to gain
definitely.
confidence on that
Mm.
field or that particular genre.
Yeah, that is very important, because you are very new. If you learn something one time and then you started using and you are underconfident. If you are underconfident, then how will you deliver? And if you deliver that, if you speak that word, so maybe you will not sound that much confident. So I can say that if you want to use those words and new expressions, so first of all, make yourself confident of using those words and expressions. First of all, make yourself confident. Then you can use those words, and it will definitely sound. Actually, it is it will make your conversation impressive.
Yes.
That actually work a lot. But the same thing is, it happens with most of the learners. I can say we all are learners. Actually, we are learning from each other, and if I can say that I'm a teacher, so I'm not a learner, but I can say this thing that I'm a learner. Everyone, those who are whose language is not learn English. Our native language is not English. Our native language is Hindi.
Hmm.
So we have to do a lot of hard work to become familiar with this language.
And we are doing effort. Otherwise, there's no need.
Yeah, that's,
If that English is not our native language. That's why we are here today. We are learning. So don't repent. Just work. Hard work, hard work, and
right.
hard work. Because no substitute of hard work. If you are
Yes.
doing hard work, then definitely you will get that fruit,
Mm.
and that fruit will be very sweet for you once you will achieve that
Mm.
whatever you wanted.
One more thing I want to add, like along with hard work, you need to be very consistent.
Hmm.
Because I struggled a lot with this consistency, because sometimes I'm very motivated. I make videos on my YouTube channel. I used to talk a lot, like shadowing practice. I used to do this thing, but sometimes I get demotivated, and I quit all these things. So consistency, for this consistency, what can we do for to maintain that consistency? So consistency comes from discipline. If
Yes.
you are disciplined, if you make yourself disciplined and do all these, all the work, like, because we are female and we have a lot of work. I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. So lots of responsibility on our shoulder. So we juggle a lot. So the kind of overthinking we, go into. If I talk about myself, I'm a lot of, I'm a good overthinker, I can say. Too much. I overthink a lot because a lot of things to do. So how how do I manage things? So
Mhm.
just because of that, I am not able to maintain that consistency. So how do you manage? I want to ask because I see a lot of your videos that coming on a regular basis.
Oh,
That I really because I'm struggling with this, and that was the question in my mind. So I wanted to ask from you, how do you manage? Because you are also mother of two kids, and you have also household responsibilities. So how do you manage?
actually, my family supports me. My husband, when he comes generally at 3:30 or 3, so he also takes care of him. Means my baby and my daughter is also a little grown up, 12 years. So she also holds sometimes when I take sessions. And when it comes to editing and reading something, then I do such kind of activities with my baby. He sits next to me, and I used to editing and while reading something. When I read newspaper, then he also sits with me, and whatever I'm doing, underlining the sentence vocabulary, he also notices me sometimes. Okay,
Nice.
mama is doing something, and because children are
Mhm.
curious to know each and everything. Okay, he's doing something like
Yes,
this, I also do like this. So he always imitates.
definitely. Imitate, because whatever parents do, the that will impact a lot, that impact a lot to
Yeah,
their kids. So whatever you do, if you watch reels, if you see TV and all these things, so they will do the same thing.
I think this
So
is
you
the
can
best
become role
way.
model for your parents.
Yeah, I think this is
Mm,
the best way if you want to create your environment in your house in anything, not only in English. If you want to spread positivity, any good deeds, if you want to do for your children's betterment, then start doing with you first. Because if parents are doing
definitely.
something, then definitely children will acquire that thing in natural way. So first of all, you have to change your
Mm,
mindset. So I'm doing, and may he will also become like this. I don't know his future
mm.
because nobody predict their future, right? Yeah. So that's how
Yeah,
we
because it's a very difficult era, I can say. It's a era of social media and a lot of distractions.
manage. Yes. Yes.
In our time, like when we were kids, there were no any kind of distraction. Like in at my house, there were no television. We
Yes.
did not have television.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my father, he prohibited this thing that when we will grow up, and then after he brought television for us, the color TV, first time when I went to BSc. So that time we got that new television, color TV,
Oh.
I can say. So there were no distractions, only study, and we used to go outside, play a lot with friends. The kind of physical activity that is
Mm-hmm.
actually very important. But nowadays, I can say with my daughter, she hardly goes outside just because of the environment, I can say,
We
and
cannot
I
say.
also hardly get time to take her outside. It's not safe. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, the environment is actually not safe.
Yeah. We cannot say
So
that.
physical activity is not, it's not at all. So what they used to do, that they used to watch,
TV, mobile.
mobile phone or television. That's the kind of activity we should, do. I think with our kids, kind of physical activity or some kind of brain games, I can say.
Hmm.
So yeah, it definitely help them. I think.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So I have talked to talk. We have talked a lot, I think. So we have wrap up the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.